Thank you so much. Thank you. We're excited to be here. Appreciate the intro. And Michelle, it's great to see you again. We're thrilled to be part of the 10th anniversary summit. So again, excited to kick things off with some great brands. So thank you for hosting us. And it's a great opportunity to meet Michelle, get to know a little bit more about her, her career, her love for lobster rolls. Quick intro from my end. I started my media career on the agency side, and then after 15 great years, made the leap over to the publisher platform side. I'm currently working on the partnerships team at Influential, which is one of the largest influencer marketing companies in the space. We're an IBM exclusive influencer partner and have extremely sophisticated technology and measurement, really tracking that consumer journey and delivering real results for brands. So that's my little quick intro, and Michelle would love to hear from you and do a quick intro on your end.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Hi, Liza. It's great to see you again. And exciting to be part of the 10th anniversary. It really is a big deal, and Brand Innovators has been really incredible in supporting the community, and I know for sure supporting me as well as I sort of go on this career trajectory. So I guess it's easiest to talk about the last, 10 to 12 years of my career. I've been in retail, primarily in contemporary fashion, with Diane von Furstenberg, and then leading Ann Taylor and Taylor Loft, as well as creating their athleisure wear brand Lewin Gray. So, and most recently I've joined the team at Blink Fitness. It's been almost 2 years that I've been part of the world of health, wellness, and fitness, which has been obviously unprecedented during this time, but at the same time, it feels really good to be part of a brand that's really encouraging health and wellness, and certainly through this time period. So a little bit about me. And I do love lobster rolls. You caught me. Yes, this is true. This is true.
That's great. And yeah, would love to hear a little bit more about your role. Obviously, like we spoke about, I mean, the fitness world, the gym world was severely affected. And we'll get into that a little bit more, but would love to just hear a little bit more about your role and what it encompasses there at Blink Fitness when it comes to marketing, media. What are you sort of managing, or where you have your hands in what pots?
Yeah. So, Blink, was born in about 2008 as part of the Equinox portfolio, and really focuses in on the price value sort of luxury experience for health and wellness and fitness. And, we're on a growth trajectory, as we continue to sort of come out of COVID. Our plan is really to continue to grow, and particularly our footprint across the United States. So it's an exciting time, and obviously an important time. We sort of keep going back to it, but people are really thinking about health and wellness, and not only the physical element, but the mental element of it as well. And I think that's really what the brand was born and kind of came through, and especially during this time, is just the mood lifting benefits of what we do. But we're continuing to grow in both sort of the retail as well as the digital world, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
For sure. Yeah. And I think, obviously, like especially when it comes to this space, as we know, the COVID has really impacted the world, and it's obviously it's had a lot of impact on brands, and marketing is multifaceted. But of course, when we look at that gym, that studio space, I think we mentioned this, when we chatted earlier, that definitely one of the hardest hit industries outside of hospitality, which is what you said. So would love to hear about this past year. I mean, knowing you've been there for 2, and then this past year was drastically different than your first year, I'm assuming. That, just what has, how has it played a role for you? And then I've been read a couple articles about how quickly, Blink had to pivot to really understand what the consumer was looking for, in marketing, and then also in what you are putting out there. And then some of the, some of the lessons that you've learned over the past year.
Yeah, for sure. That's like a mouthful, all of that.
Yeah.
But you're definitely right. I mean, you know, outside of hospitality, obviously with gyms and studios being closed, the industry really went through an unprecedented time. Not to overuse that sort of idea, but I think and certainly one of I think the positive outputs has been this acceleration into digital and thinking about sort of exercise and fitness outside of the four walls of a retail space, and really now kind of living into how people want to take on their fitness journey, and whether that be in the four walls or be outside the four walls. So we definitely pivoted. You had mentioned that you had sort of read a couple of the things that the team had accomplished, but I think the thing that we really moved quickly to do was to engage our members and our community. So our employees as well was part of that equation. And within 72 hours, we actually got content live and available to everybody. And we did that through Facebook live stream, where we hosted our personal trainers and each day created a wellness regime for not only for, it ended up not only being for our members, but we opened it up to anybody that wanted to join in. And I think a huge part of it, Liza, was actually, we were very fortunate. In 2019, we had launched an app, which we could talk more about, but we had that app available to us and the members as well, obviously, and used it really as the perfect platform for continuing to engage with them. In addition, we added in this content. So, you know, I think we're up to 2 million views right now. When you get the app, it's actually that content has been built right in and is archived on the app. So you're able to use that content whenever you want. But it was a huge feat, and it spoke to really the resiliency of my team and my cross-functional partner teams about how quickly we were able to react, because you know, we were juggling a lot of plates in the air in that moment between closing down the gyms and then re-engaging with our members. It was really important to us that we focused in on putting them first.
I mean, yeah, saying you said 72 hours you were able to get, that's incredible. I mean, I think I was shocked at so many brands pivoted within, I don't know, a month or so, but saying that you were able to get, you know, content up and pivot to these Facebook live streams is pretty incredible. And yes, yeah. A testament to, I'm sure, your team and your content team. And
the personal trainers, right? Like it was the first time ever that they, you know, a lot of them had been in quotations on camera, but for them to begin to think about, you know, curating something that made sense and that everybody could participate in, that was part of really what we were thinking about, is how can we bring everybody on their journey and really open it up. So we actually had Q&A. We were actually hosting it at the same time. So for those that were like, what do I use? I don't have any weights, you know, I don't have a mat, like what can be some substitutes? So we were really thoughtful in thinking about how could we get as many people into this mode as quickly as possible, even if they didn't have the ideal situation. So it was kind of amazing.
That's amazing. And so currently, is it still, because you said the app had actually launched prior to this, right? So obviously then you were able to just also put content and stream and do all of that within the app as well.
Yeah, we started to archive it within the app. So it was originally just, you know, live stream on Facebook and available and there if anybody wanted to use it, but now it's been archived right into the app, which is phenomenal.
That's really amazing. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I do think that was one of the biggest, even for me, you know, personally, when this all happened and that those classes were shut down. I remember actually going to my, you know, my last class, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, now what do I do? And, you know, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I had to create a gym space in my living room, which was every morning. And then I will say it was one of the, as you mentioned, like it was a very quick digital transition.
Yes.
And at home, I was never ever working out really at home, and now it's my norm. So I do think it's really interesting how that space has changed due to the pandemic, for sure.
For sure. How to use like your pet or your child to as extra weight as you do your bicep curl or we really tried to think of sort of all the different possibilities, right? Like if you didn't have the weights, could you use detergent containers instead to supplement for that weight that you were looking for? So we got super creative. And
Yeah.
I think that also helps bring people along on the journey for, we really focus on the novice and first time users. So we really created that comfort level. It might not be perfect, but you can still sort of get that active lifestyle that you need.
For sure, for sure. And it's funny to also, like, I was, traveled to Connecticut and drove, and I now everything that my gym mat comes with me everywhere I go, which was never the case before. But I now take my mat, and sometimes if I have room, I take my weights. But it is funny that is definitely a change in sort of lifestyle over the last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. And then, and we talked a little bit about this, but the app also, we did, the app is really thoughtful in not only having the fitness content, but we actually have nutrition as well as rejuvenation, or what we call recovery content. So we've partnered with a lot of popular fitness partners. So whether it's Active or Sworkit or Daily Burn or Zumba, we actually have all of that content as well available. And then we have all of the sort of nutrition based, whether it's Food 52 or Cooking Light. And then we're really thinking about too, the mental wellness of things. So whether you needed the yoga class or you need the meditation class, that content is all there. So that content was there and available. And we actually saw a real large increase in downloads. And I'd say almost 80% of our member base right now actually are engaged and using the app. So that's kind of amazing. So now that as people kind of think of, what is this new stasis of exercising? Like, am I going to my gym? Am I going to my gym with my app? If I don't finish my workout in the gym, can I now take, it into my world like I was doing previously, and add on a meditation session or yoga? So we're really thinking about, content that's available for and when you want to use it, no matter how you want to use it. So that was a big part of, when it was originally created, but obviously served us very, very well. And then we made that app available for anybody for free that wanted to use it throughout that time period. So
that's amazing. And so, because I did read this too. Yes, mental health obviously super important, given what we've gone through. And I think meditation has been very helpful to a lot of people. Was that something that you were doing prior to this, or
yeah.
Oh, it was. So yeah, okay,
yeah. Often you hear our tagline, or what we really stand for, is mood over muscle. So that has been a big part about, it's really the state of your mind and the wellness that you feel, through exercise, not necessarily the physical output of what may or you may not be interested in that body change. It's just about feeling good. And sort of that has been a really big focus of the brand and continues to be. So
that's awesome. That's really great. And so now let's get into a little bit more of on the marketing side, some of those fun topics. So assuming, obviously their marketing is out there, and how important is digital social marketing within sort of your larger media mix? Because I was also reading too, and again, given my background currently, that influencers have actually played a big part of Blink Fitness's marketing. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yes, yeah. One of both of our favorite conversations or topics is really the power of the influencer. Interestingly enough, very similar to sort of that idea of mood over muscle, we actually always use member only. We don't use models in any of our creative. So that's kind of something that started at the birth of the brand and continues to that day. So that kind of plays into the overarching content strategy and the focus of influencer. But our influencer strategy is primarily focused around body inclusivity, positivity, and member engagement. So a big part of that is obviously demonstrating, the body inclusivity, the variety of stages of people where they are in their life, their different ways of attending and engaging with the gym, and whatever reason they might be going to the gym. So we're very hyper featured on that, whether it's the weight loss or gaining tone, or simply just wanting to have fun with friends at the gym. That's a big part of sort of where we tell our stories. And then positivity, right? Like, we understand that some people, it's overwhelming to come to a gym and sort of begin your journey. So we really want to demonstrate and show people that are, might feel that sort of need that comfort level, and really the positivity of the experience in the four walls. And then, as I mentioned, we obviously use members in all of our advertising, but a big part of our storytelling is done through UGC. So if you go onto our social channels, we prioritize telling their stories and their daily wins, whether it's in the gym or in their life. We're really telling the story from their perspective. And as we reopen gyms, we're still in the process as we wait for sort of California and the finalization of some of the other states. We're really using their stories as they go back and journey back into the gym, and what does that look like. So a lot of perspective from their side and their experiences. And now we're actually starting to open brand new gyms, and we really focus on the local influencers and having them sort of help guide this journey into our gyms for those that aren't aware of the brand or that are considering coming to the gym for the first time. So I would say throughout COVID and now where we are right now, content strategy around that content creation is primarily focused around using the influencers, and we actually use it in a lot of our advertising as well, and on both sides, the UGC side and then what we create with the campaigns. So
it's amazing. And yeah, I think that in this space too, the realness and like the authentic, it needs to be authentic. That's our, biggest thing in the influencer space. And I think using obviously members and showing their sort of journey is huge. Knowing that I think way back when gyms used to always, I think people always just like, oh, working out weight loss and like, or, and there's so much more to it now. And like, they're especially around, like you said, body positivity and whether someone just wants to go to socialize or somebody wants to go for toning or just to, they're running a marathon. There's so many different reasons. So I think that's, amazing that obviously Blink is sort of highlighting that as opposed to some of these other gym ads that you will see that are not so inclusive.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point, and thank you for that call out. And it makes it proud to be part of a brand that really stands for that. But and interestingly enough, just to sort of add on to influencer content, we actually increased, I think, our content production by almost 100% during this time period, and as we're coming out. So we really expanded into that storytelling that we're doing. So we are exploring not only the current channels that we use, that you can find us on, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, but really sort of broadened our reach now and going into the world of TikTok from both an influencer perspective as well as advertising, and starting to find our way there as well, in a very authentic way. Like, I think as we sort of move to the next sort of post-pandemic phase of life, I guess, what the new normal, so to speak, we're really looking to continue to tell those stories, and very specifically for those specific channels, right? So like what we do on Facebook, we don't do on Instagram. We are very cognizant of, the people that spend their time on the different channels and how they want to find that content. A lot of it and most of it is snackable and really easy for people to use. So you can actually use your Instagram feed or our feed while you're in the gym. We've actually created these little sort of snackable, exercise sprints that you can do in the gym, et cetera. So
yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Exciting. What did you say?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask is the content obviously that you're pushing out, but it sort of just ranges. Obviously, I'm sure on TikTok, obviously a bit different than Facebook, different audiences, but also I'm assuming that you have some of like your trainers that are doing workouts, but then there's also gym members that are, so it ranges sort of the gamut of what you're pushing out there.
Yeah, and Jim and especially our members from both showing their mini workouts, whatever we're telling a story about, but also just their pure wins. But we definitely spend a lot of time thinking about our content and our storytelling and the stories that our influencers and members are telling. So.
And then on that note, so because it's interesting, obviously the space is very intriguing, and what does success look like for your teams? Because I think obviously there's multifacets here. Is it a changing in brand perception, or getting members into, or signups, I'm assuming, but what other elements are success metrics that you look at when you're doing your marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the typical focus of, having the KPIs. I think it depends on the channel, right? Like our KPIs for email and performance marketing are very different than they are for, what we do in social. But for us with social, a lot of the time we're spending is really engagement and helping helping our members with the right content that they need at the right time. So we are really thoughtful in, those snackable workouts or whatever they might be that really help people in on their journey. So I think we're looking at the body and the mind. Like we want to tell people those stories and journeys that really speak to people's enthusiasm around fitness, health, and wellness. And then at the same time, want to help them on their journey by providing the physical content that they might need, whether it's in the gym or using the app outside the gym.
Yes, for sure. And I guess, obviously research and understanding your consumer and really what they want is super important. Have you been doing a lot of like surveys and questionnaire? And okay, I was going to say, yeah.
We have a really great research partner that we use and work with very closely, but we also use social channels as a great vehicle to sort of ask those questions and are cognizant of, whether it's on Instagram doing a quick survey or on Facebook. And then we have customer panels as well. So, and then we're doing, SurveyMonkey really quick and sort of being able to get them out there and just get a sense of what's going on. I think in this particular moment with so much changing and still sort of evolving, so to speak, with vaccinations and people feeling comfortable going back to the gym, people figuring out what their work regime, is it working remotely? Is it working in the office? Is it the ands and the ors, and what does that look like? So we're thinking a lot about how it's important as well.
Which actually pivots, I think, perfectly into this next question. I think obviously there has so much has changed. When you look at your either management strategies or just in general working in this space, which was never really remote before and now is still very much remote. Was there any management strategies that you had to adjust during this? Were there ways that you found to keep your team engaged and motivated? What have you personally been doing over the past year, given the remote status?
I think it's a big call out to my team, right? Their resiliency during this time period has been phenomenal, as well as the ability to be so agile and be able to pivot so quickly into sort of this new world order, so to speak. But, it was thinking about the team as a whole, and then it was thinking about each individual as part of the function and what did everybody need. So we spent a lot of time sort of checking in with each other as a team and sort of achieving, the sort of the functional goal of what the business was about, but also being there and supporting each other like throughout the process. So I think like a lot of brands, we were in teams, we were able to do a lot through these Zoom meetings. For as uncomfortable as it was at the beginning, I think everyone sort of got the cadence, but it really became about the individual and how can we support people through this time period. I think it became that whole empathy play of like thinking about the entire person, not just sort of the one that's working. We spent an inordinate amount of time, it didn't feel like there were boundaries about the workday and what not the workday was. So we really truly became supportive. And I don't think we would have been able to achieve what we did during this time period if it wasn't for the mindset of the team and also just that, the resiliency that they demonstrated.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think a lot of people too, to your point, everyone has sort of had to take a step back and think about that person as a whole, whether it's somebody that has small children running around in their hours. Flexibility, I think was a huge, obviously a buzzword this past year, but it really was true of understanding people's situations and knowing where they are and where they're living and what, their surroundings, Zooms versus phone calls, kind of just making sure that everyone's aligned on, everyone's situation and schedule. But like you said, I think Zooms originally were like, what's happening here? And now it's second nature. It's like, yeah, sure. Let's hop on the Zoom or the chat or the
let's not hop on the Zoom, right? Like a lot of that time too was spent, you just need to talk and just not be on Zoom and just need to listen or have this meeting or, not be at this particular meeting because you just need to walk in the park or do what you need to do. I think that flexibility was really important to give people the space and be productive and at the same time feel truly supported.
Yeah, for sure. And back to the whole mental health is that obviously, like you said, yes, I needed to get outside every day because I need it mentally. Like that's something for me that I, definitely want to breathe that fresh air, and be able to have that, that mindset sort of reset to get once I'm outside. Oh, we have some questions coming in. Okay. Let's see what these are. Okay. What is your brand? What ways is your brand working to stand out in the eye of the consumer? So now pivoting to the consumer of obviously blank. What do you think you've done? Obviously, ways to stand out on that side of things.
Yeah, I think it's really about that personalization of the experience. We didn't get into it. We did talk a little bit together about the app, but the app has been not only a vehicle during the pandemic, but it actually has become a vehicle as we come out of the pandemic. And we actually created 4 products, which we also launched in prior to the gym's reopening. And that was really about making people feel comfortable getting back into the gym. So we had that contactless entry into the gym. You didn't have to touch or do anything. You actually could use your app to get back into the gym. And then you could actually book time in the gym. You could look at the capacity of the gym. And we have introduced virtual personal training for people that either don't have the time to be in the gym during gym times and want to do it on their own, or they aren't ready to get back to the gym. So I think we're starting to really accelerate and focus on that experience about, what is it that you need on your journey from both a content perspective on the app as well as in the gym.
For sure. And then this is interesting. Are you planning on adjusting sort of your marketing and digital transformation or investment over the next 2 to 3 years based on this past year? So do you think that some of these changes that have been made will be long-term? Or do we think that, as this fizzles out, things will go back to the way they were?
Yeah, I think even prior to the pandemic, the big focus of the team and really when I began was that digital mindset, right? Really thinking about all of the different channels that we use, whether it's the website or the app, and how is it in service of our current member base or, our potential target member base. So I think we are on that trajectory of using digital and the channels to either acquire new customers or continue to engage with our current customers. So each of these individuals on their own sort of stand and hold a big part of the strategy that we're using and will continue to use. I always feel uncomfortable about talking 3 to 5 years. If anything, pandemic has taught us is what we're sure of right now is being in the moment, but we are really always being thoughtful about what channel might be next and how can we tell our story and make it relevant for the members we have or the future members.
Yeah, and it's so true about that of thinking into the 5 years. I mean, like you said, who knows what's gonna,
you have to laugh when they say 3 to 5 years. You're like, oh my God, like we've learned we've got to get through each moment as we come to it. But
exactly. It's really necessary to concentrate on right now because who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, months, year. But this is one of my favorite questions, and not necessarily as focused on marketing, but what's one thing that you're looking forward to personally and or both professionally this upcoming year?
Yeah, for sure. Professionally, I'm looking really forward to seeing and being with with my team in the same space and having that dynamic energy that kind of happens when you get to all be in the same room, and obviously as well for my cross-functional partners, it'll be exciting to all be on the same floor and building at the same time. So looking forward to what that experience looks like. And for me personally, it's my family. I'm originally from Canada and it's still a little bit tricky, unfortunately. So I am holding my breath and crossing my fingers that by the end of the summer, I'll be able to see them without a problem. So that is a big part.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they're still, I mean, I have a friend up there. They're still pretty much, I mean, I don't know if it's lockdown or it's
lockdown. It's like 99.9. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In Ontario, I can only speak for Ontario, but where my family is, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's
How
really
about you, Lisa? What are you excited about?
I mean, I would say the same. I think professionally, I am actually excited. We had a team happy hour, which was exciting last month, outside in the city, which was so. I mean, it was almost like I was it was funny. I was going to it and I was like anxious. I hadn't seen people. There's people that started in COVID, so we've never even actually met. I mean, I've talked to most, but we had it was awesome and it was great to see people. So having that be a little bit more of a norm and being able to see faces that I've never seen and going into the office, and having that more collaborative and chatting. I mean, there's so many like texts and voice notes and Slacks, and I'm excited to just, have these conversations in person, for sure. And my, personally, traveling, I'm a very big traveler. I generally am somewhere every month, if not more. So getting back to Europe is very much high on my list. So booking that trip, hopefully in the fall. I'm fingers crossed, and using my new passport that just got renewed.
That's awesome. What country are you going to?
Yeah, well, I haven't booked it yet, but I would love to go back to Greece. That is one of my favorites. Obviously, there's a ton that I still haven't done, but Greece is one of those that I went a couple of years ago, and I left, and I was like, I need to come back here, like immediately. It was so beautiful and gorgeous, and I'm, the ocean, surrounded by that water and those islands. The beach and the ocean is for me. So, yeah, I'm hoping for that. But we did book a little girls trip to Mexico in the fall, so that's happening, which will be nice.
Nice.
Yeah. But I think that it'll be nice that'll be the norm again. When I think flew a couple, last month, it was, at first it was almost like, again, the same thing of going to a happy hour where I was like, I used to do this all the time and I almost forgot how to travel, like, like packing and going to the airport and all of that it was like, oh, I haven't done this in a really long time. So I'm not totally sure what I'm doing, but it was nice to actually, finally get on the plane and yeah. So it's been good, but I do miss that. I mean, of course, like we said, there have been some positive things to this, but my travel restrictions have been a bit of a bummer.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that border to open. So I hear you.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, and I think we're perfect timing.
Get off.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm back. Thanks so much. Great conversation. Michelle, I didn't know you were from Canada. I'm coming to you from Toronto right now.
I know. Well, that's where I need to be. That's where my family is.
Well, so I have some good news for you. And they have opened patios as of tomorrow.
That doesn't help me.
Restaurants are allowed to open for outdoor dining. Stores are allowed to open at 15 to 20% capacity. And there is a rumor that our buddy JT in Ottawa is ready to get over the quarantine requirement of those coming back in, as long as you are fully vaccinated. So, we're all everyone's got our first dose and everyone's waiting for dose number 2, but things are opening up, Michelle. So, stay positive. It's going to happen. You will see your family.
Well, then you'll see me in August. That's
I will love to see you too. Yeah. And Greece sounds amazing, by the way. That blue that I saw in Greece has not been duplicated anywhere else. So thank you very much to both of you for an amazing conversation. The one thing that kind of immediately stood out to me was when you said mood over muscle. I'm like, I love the philosophy. I'm going to use it. Can I like put it on a bumper sticker or something? Can I put it on my car with a little Blink logo on it or something? I mean, it's awesome because, it's the true essence of who you are. Right. As Blink. I mean, you guys don't use models and you don't use, any kind of a made up, kind of image about you guys, which is what I love. So thank you so much. Excellent conversation, Michelle. We'll talk soon. Liza, great job moderating, and we'll talk soon.